everybody. Welcome back. This is Miss Faye, and this is my world. Okay, we have a letter. Let's dive right into this letter and see what she says. She writes, I'm 22 years old, and I was in a relationship with a 21-year-old guy. I'm from California, but I was in Philadelphia for 3 months visiting my family and celebrating my 22nd birthday. And we met a day before my 22nd birthday, so I was 21 when I met him. Anyways, the relationship was pretty good until I went to his house for the first time. He took me home to meet his mother and sisters. You know, that's odd for a man to take you home to meet his mother, and he's only known you a very short time. All right, I think that's a red flag. Upon walking into the house, I was caught off guard by how dirty it was. There was trash and food wrappers on the floor, messy countertops in the kitchen, and it looked like the place hadn't been cleaned in months. Taken aback, but not wanting to be rude, I tried my best just to ignore the dirt. After a few hours, I left and went back to my hotel. The next day, I mentioned I was checking out of the hotel and into an Airbnb. And he invited me to stay the night at his house so I could save money instead of spending it on the Airbnb. You know, you had already been there to see how nasty it was. Why would you even consider staying there? Wanting to save money, I agreed to stay at his place for the night. As we talked on the phone, he mentioned he was cleaning and getting the place ready for me. I was happy to hear this, as I almost backed out of going because of how dirty it was when I went the first time. Upon walking into the house, it was cleaner than what it was the last time. The kitchen still seemed a little messy with dishes in the sink, but that was no biggie until I went upstairs to use the bathroom. I was shocked to see the bathroom sink had dirty diapers in it. The shower had dirty pots and pans in it. The toilet had pee and poop in it. It wouldn't flush, so everyone had to pee and poop on top of each other. You know, that's filth. That's filthy. I immediately regretted my decision to stay the night. I had no choice but to stay, as it was already 11 p.m. We slept on the couch in his living room, and as he slept, I sat up to use my phone, and while doing so, I suddenly felt something land on my arm, and I used my phone light to look at my arm, and it was a roach. A roach had fallen off the ceiling and landed on my arm. I then used my phone flashlight to look around the room and saw multiple roaches and small black bugs crawling around the floor and on the walls. To make matters worse, a mouse ran from under the couch we were lying on and underneath the couch across from us. I wanted to jump up and scream, but didn't. I stayed put for the night, as it was already 12 a.m. But once the morning came, I told him I would be getting a hotel to stay at. When I got to my hotel, I noticed my foot was itching. My foot was itching and realized I had small bumps on my feet, maybe bug bites from walking around his house with no shoes prior to realizing the bugs. He probably had bed bugs in the furniture. So it wasn't walking around the house, it was just sitting or laying on the furniture. He blamed the dirt and messiness on his sisters, who are 15, 19, 6 months, and said Philly has a bad roach problem because most houses in Philly are row houses. The roaches come in through the walls from the neighbor. Well, you know what? I lived in New York for a while, and New York people, they have roaches too. but not like this. You might see a few around. And, if you are a responsible person, you do your best to keep that down. I mean, you spray all the time. You put traps down all the time. You keep your house as clean as you can so that these roaches don't overtake your living space. But apparently these people have gotten used to it. All right. I liked him and didn't want to judge, so I accepted his reasoning, but decided not to ever sleep at his house again. Now I would have judged it because he's so used to this that he even invited you to his house. He wasn't ashamed for you to see how he was living. I think that's 2 red flags you needed to look at. Things were fine between he and I. He would stay with me at my Airbnb in Spring Garden, which is a nice part of Philly, close to Center City. One time, me and his 15-year-old sister were taking the train from their house to West Philly. It was around 10 p.m., and there was a homeless man sleeping on a seat across from where we were sitting. And out of nowhere, his sister started to spit at the sleeping homeless man. I mean, legit spitting on this man. She spat on him about 4 times as he slept. Oh, they bullies too. My ex laughed about it, but I sat there mortified. You see, your ex is used to living a certain way. You don't need to be involved with these people. Then she sat behind a white woman on the train and began purposely blowing smoke from her vape pipe into the woman's face. And when the woman asked her to stop, she laughed about it. We got off the train and got into another one, and my ex had picked up a half-empty soda can off the ground. And as we walked through the train, he suddenly threw the soda can at an older white woman who was sitting alone on the train, and then took off running through the train, connecting doors, and his sister took off with him. What kind of vagabond people are these? Oh, why would you go off with people like this? I was shocked and appalled at their behavior. I stayed behind to apologize to the woman, but she jumped and started chasing my ex through the train while crying, and he and his sister were laughing the entire time. I felt terrible and didn't know what to do. You should have walked off from them. Say, I'll see y'all later. And just departed from them, period. I'm unfamiliar with West Philly and didn't want to be left by myself on the train in a rough area, so I ran after them. So now I'm running after my ex and his sister, who are laughing like hyenas, and the woman who is crying. So now wait a minute. You've only been, I guess we'll say, dating lightly this man for a very short time, and you're already calling him your ex. You've already committed to some sort of relationship with this guy? Your standards are way too low. All right? Eventually, my ex and his sister hopped off the train, so did I. His sister asked me would I have helped fight the woman had she caught up with them. I said no. Then his sister said, "You don't have my brother's back? You won't fight for him?" I said, "Why would I fight a woman for defending herself?" My ex stayed silent through his sister. Well, you know what? These siblings are the way they are because this is the way that they were raised. It's all coming from the parents. Is it just the mother there? She hasn't really cared for these kids. And that's why they are just running amok. Another time, me and my ex, his 15-year-old sister, their mom, and their 16-year-old cousin, plus his friends were in Center City, which is downtown Philly and a nice area. He had invited me to go shopping with them, so we met up downtown and things were going fine. We all were waiting for the bus, and my ex walked across the street to Starbucks and came back with a drink admitting he had stolen it from the pickup orders. Then, as we were waiting for the bus, my ex, his sister, and their cousin, along with their cousin's friends, went into the Wawa. Their aunt and their mom, along with the 6-month-old baby, stayed at the bus stop and got on the bus to head back to their house. Soon as we got off the bus, their mom got a call from the 15-year-old sister saying they all got kicked out of the gas station and that the gas station security assaulted their cousin. Yeah, because these are rebel rousers. They are troublemakers. You know, everywhere they go, they bring trouble. So that's why they got kicked out. The mom then told her daughter, "You know how to fight. You better fight." I was disgusted to hear the mother encourage her daughter to fight instead of instructing her to leave and get to safety. The mom is 31 years old and a mom of 10 kids. She should know better than to support her kids behaving this way. She got 10 kids. This is bad news. My ex, his sister and cousin got back to the house. They laughed about the situation and said his cousin had punched the security guard, which led to the fight. I knew that the cousin did something. Security guard didn't just harass him for no reason. And you had already seen their pattern throughout the day. They are destructive everywhere they go because they were not raised properly. All right, and you really have no business with these people. I can't even understand why you would even go with him. And when you went to his house the first time and you saw the situation, why would you continue to be with him? And you keep calling him in the letter your ex. So that means you must have slept with him. In the 3 months that you were in Philadelphia, you must have slept with this man. Because now you feel like you're attached to him. He's your ex. Come on. Come on, people. All right, let's go on with this letter. Another time I was hanging out at my ex house and his 19-year-old sister and mom were talking and joking around when the sister told their mom to shut up. And the mom responded by saying, "No, you shut the F up." And the 19-year-old then called her mom a B. And my ex laughed. And you still hanging around with these people? This is very low vibration. Very negative. I was shocked to know that the mother allowed her children to call her B to her face. Why were you shocked? After you saw the house and after you saw how they acted in public, why were you shocked? It all came from the mother. She's the one that taught them to behave like this. So I don't see why you were shocked at anything that happened in that house. I waited until I was at my Airbnb to end the relationship, and he acted lost as to why I broke up with him. You know why? Because you hung out with him through all of this bad situation. You stayed at his house. You went shopping with him. You went all kind of places with these people acting crazy. So, of course, he didn't think there was a problem. He thought, and then you calling him your boyfriend because you said your ex. So he didn't think there was a problem. He thought that you were just like them. And you say, the very next day, he called me at 10 a.m. to tell me his 19-year-old sister wanted to meet up at the train station so she could fight me. Oh, that's just crazy. Now they want to beat you up because you broke up with him. I hung up the phone without saying anything. I then received threats via text from his sister And out of anger, I said some rude things about the 6-month-old baby and then received threats via text from their mom. The next day, I got a call from a number that I didn't recognize, and I answered it. It was him on the line, asking me if I wanted to be best friends with him, and I said no. He then asked if I wanted to be friends, to which I hung up. I flew back home to California and moved on with my life. I just got a friend request from him on Facebook, which I declined, along with him commenting on my pictures saying I'm beautiful. I blocked him and want nothing to do with him. Oh, and turns out he lied about his age. He is 20, not 21. I'm convinced all people in Philly are crazy. Well, you know what? It's not just people in Philly. It's crazy people everywhere. But you got to look at yourself, too, in this situation. Why did you spend so much time with this man? After you saw plainly where he came from, you met these people, you saw that he lives in filth, and they're very low-class people. Why would you spend your time with them? You see, you need to raise your standard. Because if you accepted them, which you did, then you need to work on you. Is something missing in your life that you don't feel like you deserve better than this? You see, I'm sure that you saw signs even before he took you to his house that something's wrong with him. Both of you were young, and I can understand, he wanted to take you, to see where he lived or whatever. He probably just took you there because he wanted you to meet his people. Being young and immature, he didn't know better than that. And you saw the whole gamut of how they are. I would have run and never looked back. After I saw the house, I would say, this is not it. And then you stayed in that field overnight and made an excuse. It was 11 p.m. You could have went to the hotel. You didn't have to stay there. You could have called up an Uber and got the heck out of there. Like I said, your standards are way too low. Work on yourself. Raise your vibration so that you will know your value. You're worth a lot more than dealing with people like this, these low-class people. Because they will only bring you down. Like his sister wants to fight you. That's crazy. You understand? So don't put it on that all the people in Philly are crazy, because that's not true. You just chose a crazy one. You chose it. Okay? Ladies, these things, you got to look at what type of energy you are attracting in your life. Now, for you to attract this kind of energy, it just says that you need to work on yourself. Start loving yourself. Realize that you deserve better. And never talk to a man who lives in filth. Okay? Never talk to him. And this particular man didn't know any better. He thought his living condition was okay, which means it's unlikely that he would do anything to try to improve himself, because he thinks living in filth is okay. That's just the way it is. Don't do that again. When you meet somebody, number one, stop sleeping with these men, all right? Because men like that, and not saying that you can't get diseases from anybody, but if you're going to lay down with a dog, you're going to get up with fleas. Okay? People, love yourself. Don't just do anything to be with a man. And that's what it sounds like in this letter. You sacrificed yourself and your well-being to be with this man. because you say that you liked him. Let me tell you something. When you first meet these guys, they could be the worst men ever. But they're going to be nice in the beginning, because they are excited about you. You're new and all of that. But when you get old, he's going to be cursing you out, just like you see his sisters cursing the mom out and everything. And he laughed about it. And he could be violent if you were with him any longer, coming out of this kind of environment. Ladies, protect yourself. Love yourself. And don't settle for less than you deserve. I hope you understand the message today, and I really hope that it helps someone. Now, those of you who have a question that you'd like for me to answer, my email address is in the description. And if you're looking for today's affirmation, the link is also in the description. I want to thank you so much for supporting this channel. Thank you for your comments and your letters. And a very special thank you to those that leave a donation. I really appreciate all of you. I wish you all the very best. And I really hope to see you next time.